August 1st. Wow, is it going by quick? So, are we ready and patient? Hey there, are we good and patient to go?
All set.
Okay, good deal. Cassie, you ready? All right, I'll go ahead and, you guys good? All right. I'll go ahead and open the meeting August 1st. It's 10 o'clock. Randy, you want to lead us in the pledge? And then Richard Contrado from Calvary Church will do the invocation.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, God, we give you thanks for this day, God, and for your many blessings that you pour out on us. And God, for this meeting today, God, for the issues that will be discussed and for the decisions to be made, God, we ask that you would give us wisdom, God, that you would give us discernment in all things, God. And again, we pray for a blessing, God, for your hand to be upon us all here today, Father God. For this we give you thanks, we give you praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll start with number 2, presentations. 2A, presentation regarding the activities of the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality in Gila County, and we have a Matt Narder. Matt, good morning. Come on up and let us know who you are and who you're with. And
Great, thank you. Yeah, my name is Matt Narder. I'm a hydrogeologist with the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. So we really appreciate your time here this morning, allowing us to come and speak. I know you have a busy agenda. So the reason that I'm here is the US EPA is proposing to regulate a new group of chemicals. They go by the acronym PFAS, or we call them PFAS. And these proposed regulations, they're going to have an impact all throughout Arizona and here in the county, particularly drinking water providers. So one of the regulations that they're proposing is to limit the amount of these chemicals that can be in our drinking water. So our drinking water systems throughout the state are going to have to comply with these limits. And so ADQ is working throughout the state and here in the county with these water providers. We're helping them to sample, to understand what's in their water, and to be prepared for these new regulations. So we've got a short video here that's going to play. It's kind of just a brief overview, kind of introduction to what are PFAS, and then talks a little bit in general about what's going on throughout the state. And then I think that you've been provided fact sheets that talk more specifically about what's happening here in the county. So I think after the video, I'd be happy to go through this in more detail. You may have seen that there's a number of drinking water providers here in the county that have PFAS in the water. And so I'm happy to talk about what we're doing to work with those water providers and get them prepared.
good.
Okay, so yeah, we can let the video play. I'll step aside.
Is a term for a group of chemicals that many Arizona residents are likely to hear more about in the coming years. We at ADEQ would like to provide you with a brief introduction of PFAS in Arizona so you can understand what PFAS are, what ADEQ is doing to address these chemicals in our environment, and what steps to take now to protect your health. First, it's important to understand some basic facts about PFAS. Per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, are a large family of man-made chemicals that have been in use since the 1940s. PFAS have unique physical and chemical properties that make them very useful for a wide range of applications, most notably stain and water resistance. But these same properties can make them highly stable and resistant to degradation in the environment, earning them the nickname forever chemicals. Because the length of their carbon-fluorine tail and the structure of their functional head can vary, thousands of unique PFAS molecules are possible. Some PFAS have been more commonly manufactured than others, including 2 of the most widely used and studied PFAS molecules, PFOA and PFOS. Scientific studies have shown that exposure to some PFAS may be linked to harmful health effects in humans and animals. Depending on how much PFAS someone is exposed to and for how long, certain PFAS can have potential harmful effects, for example, increasing the chance of getting some cancers, increasing cholesterol levels, and affecting reproductive health and child development. Because of their unique and beneficial properties, PFAS have been incorporated into many common consumer products, including carpets, furnishings, food packaging, cosmetics, clothing, cookware, and many others. In some cases, consumers can choose to limit their exposure to PFAS, for example, by avoiding products labeled as water or stain resistant, avoiding food in contact with grease-proof packaging, and avoiding personal care products with fluorinated ingredients on the label. Drinking PFAS-contaminated water is another potential source of exposure, but one that for many is not easily avoided through personal choice alone. However, in most cases, exposure to contaminated drinking water can be eliminated through testing, regulation, and treatment, something we'll discuss more in just a bit. The life cycle of PFAS starts when they are first manufactured by industry. Although Arizona has not historically been home to any PFAS manufacturers, these chemicals can make their way to our state through the purchase of consumer products, the use of firefighting foams, and as raw materials used in the production of other products. People may be exposed directly from using these products, but as they are used or thrown away, they also enter our landfills and our wastewater treatment plants, and in turn can be released into the environment where they can accumulate and do not easily break down. From there, they may end up in our food or our drinking water. With PFAS so common in the world today, it's not surprising that we find these chemicals in our bodies as well. The CDC has measured PFAS in the US population since 1999 and has found that PFAS are present in the blood of 99% of Americans. However, since 2002, the production and use of two of the most common PFAS, PFOA and PFOS, has declined, and researchers have seen a corresponding decline in blood levels. In the case of PFOS, by more than 85%. Therefore, despite their forever chemical nickname, we can see that reducing exposure to these chemicals can have a positive impact on the levels in our bodies. PFAS are not currently regulated at the national level or in Arizona. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency first released provisional PFAS health advisories in 2009, which defined advisory levels for PFOA and PFOS. Since that time, the advisory levels have been revised lower, first in 2016 and again in 2022, and were expanded to include additional compounds, PFBS and Gen X chemicals. Health advisories are not legally enforceable. They identify the concentration of a contaminant in drinking water at which adverse health effects are not anticipated to occur over a lifetime. In March 2023, EPA took the next step. After many years of study and recent research, EPA proposed a national primary drinking water regulation. The proposed regulation would create a maximum contaminant level, or MCL, for 6 common PFAS. An MCL is the maximum concentration of a contaminant allowed in drinking water that can be delivered by a public water system. EPA has proposed to regulate PFOA and PFOS at a level of 4 parts per trillion, while 4 other PFAS are proposed to be regulated as a mixture using a standard calculation called a hazard index. These proposed MCLs were developed by EPA to account for chronic exposures to low levels of PFAS over time. At concentrations typically found in drinking water, they are not dangerous in the same way as acute water contaminants like E. coli, which may be dangerous if consumed even once. It may be helpful to understand the unit of measure that's being used by EPA for the proposed regulation. 1 part per trillion is equivalent to a single drop of water in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So this hopefully gives you an idea of just how small these numbers really are, and also how cautious EPA is being about the long-term risks associated with exposure to PFAS in our drinking water. ADEQ is closely following PFAS developments at the federal level, and EPA has developed a roadmap that lays out their commitment to take specific actions. It's expected that EPA will finalize the proposed drinking water regulation within the next year. However, implementation of the final rule will occur 3 years later, giving states and water providers the time needed to address contamination. In addition to drinking water regulations, EPA has proposed designating certain PFAS as hazardous substances, which would allow the state and federal government to hold polluters accountable. And EPA has also proposed aquatic life standards to help protect wildlife in our streams and rivers. These are all just a few of the many federal PFAS developments that are expected over the next several years. So what is ADEQ doing about PFAS in Arizona? ADEQ is taking several steps to protect public health and help our state prepare for future EPA actions. Beginning in 2018, ADEQ conducted targeted screening efforts to understand the scope of PFAS impacts in Arizona. This testing included drinking water, groundwater, wastewater, and biosolids. In 2023, we began a comprehensive PFAS testing program to make sure that all of Arizona's regulated drinking water systems are sampled for PFAS in advance of federal regulations. If PFAS are detected, we can begin working right away with affected water providers to collect more data, find solutions, and identify funding to reduce exposure to PFAS. We'll have more details on this important program in just a moment. While we're actively working to protect drinking water, we're also trying to identify the most effective ways to prevent more PFAS from entering our environment. ADEQ recently piloted a program to help Arizona fire departments stop their use of PFAS-containing aqueous film-forming foams, known as AFFF. The program was allocated $395,000 during fiscal year 2023, which allowed us to take back and replace foam from over 50 fire stations, removing over 9,000 gallons of PFAS-containing foam from being used.
We had 275 gallons that we no longer were utilizing because of the risk. And a truck easily pulled up, loaded it, and unloaded that F500 that we'll now be able to distribute to our trucks.
Being involved in this program was so essential and critical for us to get rid of these chemicals.
As mentioned earlier, ADEQ is currently engaged in a comprehensive statewide effort to ensure that all regulated water systems are tested for PFAS. EPA is currently requiring that systems serving 3,300 customers or more sample their drinking water for PFAS. However, in the state of Arizona, the majority of systems serve fewer than 3,300 people and will not be sampled under the EPA program. Therefore, ADEQ has committed to using $3 million of Federal Safe Drinking Water Act funds to sample these small water systems and help ensure that all regulated water systems in Arizona will be tested. Results are generally provided to water systems within 2 to 4 weeks of sampling and are posted to the ADEQ website. If PFAS are detected, ADEQ provides the system with a PFAS toolkit, specially developed to help water systems meet the challenges this may cause. The toolkit includes information on funding, customer communication, and potential next steps. Systems are asked to follow EPA recommendations to inform their customers of the results. Our program to test small drinking water systems has a number of benefits for the systems and their customers. First, it provides PFAS sampling to systems at no charge, potentially saving them thousands of dollars. These systems can then be notified of PFAS detections much earlier than if they wait until they are required to sample under forthcoming federal regulations. For those systems with PFAS concentrations higher than the EPA's proposed limits, they can get a head start planning for expanded testing, evaluating potential solutions, and applying for federal funding if necessary. With many systems across the nation facing similar challenges, it's important that Arizona's drinking water providers begin planning to meet the new rules as soon as possible. So what can you do if PFAS is detected in your drinking water? If your water is confirmed to contain PFAS, in many cases, action is not necessary immediately. You can choose to reduce your exposure as soon as possible by not using untreated water for activities like drinking, cooking, washing produce, brushing teeth, or preparing formula. However, it's generally safe to continue using untreated water for activities like washing dishes, showering, laundry, swimming, and watering your yard. If you have concerns about PFAS in your water, there are a number of at-home treatments available, such as activated carbon and reverse osmosis. You can check sources such as the NSF or your local filter installer for more information on effective treatment systems for your home. It should be noted that boiling water will not remove PFAS, and bottled water providers are not required to test for PFAS, so use caution if you choose to drink bottled water. PFAS can be a complicated topic, and this presentation is meant only as a brief introduction. If you'd like to learn more about PFAS in Arizona, please visit our My Community webpage. There you can find a map displaying the results of statewide PFAS screening and links to other helpful resources. If you'd like to talk with someone directly, we have staff available to speak with you and answer any questions you might have. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. I know that's a lot of information there. Any questions I can answer?
I'll bet there are, Matt. Supervisor Humphrey?
Well, I don't have a lot of questions, because it was pretty explanatory and went through it, and they're gonna be checking for it. And it just seems like they're gonna sell an awful lot of osmosis purifiers, because boiling water, nothing else will fix it. So, that's what I got out of the presentation. And, you know, I mean, and the funding for all of this is, you know, it's for the water companies, not necessarily the individuals that want to put a purifying system on their home. Is that correct?
Correct. The hope is that the water systems will install treatment or find other ways. There's other ways to lower exposure to PFAS. So, you know, maybe turning off an impacted well if there's multiple wells for a system or other things. But the hope is that the systems will be serving clean water so that the burden doesn't go on to the customers.
And is this a federally funded process?
So there is funding available to these water providers to help them initially. Eventually, the cost of running the system with additional treatment will likely be borne by the water providers themselves. But there's a lot of funding available initially for systems to help them find solutions to this.
I mean, the people that are testing the systems, is that a federally funded program?
So it's sort of both. So the larger systems, that's a federally funded program. EPA is requiring these systems to treat. But most of our systems in Arizona are smaller systems. And so that's where ADQ is stepping in. Now we are using mostly federal funding to do that, but it's actually ADQ that's stepping in and doing the sampling right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Matt. Very interesting. I've never heard of it before. And you're saying that this does not naturally occur in our water?
Correct. These are 100% man-made chemicals.
So when I see Christopher Creek, Jake's Corner, Rim Trail, Strawberry, those are very rural areas. So just interesting to think. First of all, a part per trillion is an extremely small number. I don't even know how you find something that can test that, but you know, that's a million parts. So
yes.
Anyway,
it's a very,
how dangerous is this really, and how does it end up in our rural areas?
Yeah, so one of the things that kind of sets PFAS apart from a lot of other chemicals that we deal with is the fact that it bioaccumulates. So it can accumulate in plants and animals, and it can accumulate in our bodies. And that's part of the reason why EPA is concerned with such low levels, because essentially our bodies can't pass it out fast enough or faster than it's coming in, and so it'll tend to build up. So even though we might be drinking these low levels, it can build up over time. But you are right; these are very, very low numbers. The EPA, is looking at all sorts of uncertainty factors and trying to make sure that they're limiting this as much as possible in what we're drinking.
Okay, all right. If something is passed legislatively, how will that affect us?
Meaning if
The
these
Board of
rules, when these
Supervisors
rules,
or the county?
So I think that the biggest thing is these making sure that these drinking water providers are able to come into compliance. So, for example, for the county, so first of all, we want to come here to make sure that you guys are informed of what we're doing, that we're doing the sampling. So if you're getting questions about, some of this sampling or these results, you know what's going on. But then beyond that, to be able to advocate for funding. So we have a small water system fund that it's really important that gets funded, because those funds go directly to these small water providers to help them in situations like this. So being able to help advocate for that, things like you saw the AFFF removal program, so going to these rural fire departments and helping them to change out, because that can be expensive, to change out the firefighting foam that had PFAS in it. So being able to fund systems like that would be a real help from the counties.
Okay. I appreciate it, Matt. Thanks. Thank you, Chairman.
So Matt, did you say in there that they don't test these?
Correct.
How come?
Well, the FDA is in charge of rules for bottled water. It's not the EPA, it's the FDA because it's a food product. And so they don't have any regulations right now that requires bottled water providers to test for it. So it's not necessarily saying that it's there, although some studies have shown that there are, they've shown PFAS in bottled water, but we just don't know. So because they're not testing for it.
That kind of amazes me because everybody drinks these, bottled water these days.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your presentation. Thanks for coming out and taking time and,
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
yeah,
I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
On the handout that is being shown up here, it's got a list of water companies in Gila County. There's certainly not all the water companies in Gila County that are listed. Most notably Globe and Arizona Water Company that's in right here in Globe, Miami area. Why are they not listed, and does that mean, well,
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So what's on the fact sheet, this is our AEQ's program to sample the smaller water providers. So the larger water providers are being sampled by EPA, and that sampling is ongoing over the next couple of years. So we don't have those results in yet. The water providers themselves, for those larger water providers, they're going to be doing the sampling, and then they're going to be getting those results back. AEQ won't get them directly. So what these are all the smaller water providers that we have gone out and sampled. And then actually this list is a subset of those because this is just showing the systems where we've actually detected PFAS. So there's a number of systems. So it's 46 total systems that we've sampled to date. And of those, 28, which are listed here, had PFAS detections.
Mr. Chairman, so there's, of the 28 that are listed, there's some that say yes, that means they're above the 1 part trillion. If they say no, then they're detected, but below the 1 part trillion.
Yeah, so the limit there, the yes or the no, is what EPA is proposing as the limit. So primarily it's about 4 parts per trillion, depending on the chemical. But yeah, so the ones that say yes would be, if the proposed regulation is put into place, those would exceed the regulation. They would need to do something to lower the amount in their water.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, just one question. You say that the PFAS is in the firefighters' foam that they're trying to replace. How about the slurry that's dropped on rural fires? Does it contain it?
It's a really good question. No, in general, it does not. Those are phosphate-based. So PFAS is used primarily to control liquid fuel fires, mostly gasoline.
Okay. Yeah, because we get a lot of fires and have had a lot of fires, so just a question that came up.
Yeah, great question.
Thank you very much.
Matt, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for your time.
All right, on to 2B, public recognition of 3 employees through the county Spotlight on Employees program as follows: Reyes Barajas, Larry Dooley, and John DeZera, and we have Erica this morning.
Yes, good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Chair, members of the board. Again, thank you so much for your time today. As mentioned, we do have 3 employees that were nominated for this month, and I'll read them off. First and foremost, we have Reyes Barajas, who his Spotlight nomination read, Reyes played a crucial role directly supporting the 2023 Globe in Miami Little League. Reyes worked with Little League officials to identify repairs, maintenance, and support needs to prepare the baseball complex for the 2023 baseball season. Reyes supported the creation of work orders, maintenance checklists, resource allocation, task completion to ensure the baseball complex was in working order. Reyes' efforts successfully enabled hundreds of community members and youth to participate in the community sport, ultimately facilitating 235 baseball games. Reyes is with facilities and has been with the county over 9.5 years. And Reyes?
Reyes, we just speak from you today?
No.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
Just asking.
Next we have Larry Dooley. His nomination read, Larry played a critical role enabling the success of the courthouse electrical project. It was imperative that the electrical project went to plan, ensuring the continuation of Gila County Board of Supervisors, courts, recorders, assessors, treasurers, sheriffs, and school superintendent operations. The project was a success due to Larry's direct support with logistics, communication, and teamwork. Larry built a power distribution hub and installed a 777 kilowatt generator, safeguarding servers and communication by providing emergent power and cooling. Once the project was completed, Larry worked with IT, conducting inspections and reactivating communications. Larry is also with facilities and has been with the county over 13 years. Larry? And you're welcome to give a speech as well.
I'm good. Thanks.
Congratulations, Larry.
And next we have John DeZera. John also directly supported the 2023 Globe and Miami Little League. John tirelessly worked the baseball complex with field preparation, mowing, trash removal, watering, cleaning, and conducting repairs. His efforts of preparing the baseball complex enabled the 2023 baseball season to kick off on schedule. John's hard work ensured the baseball complex was in working order throughout the season, successfully enabling hundreds of community members and youth to participate, and again, ultimately facilitating 235 baseball games. John is also with facilities and has been with the county over 13 years. John? And if you could say
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that does conclude our spotlights presentation.
Erica, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey, any comments?
No, just thank you for all you do. We appreciate it very much.
Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Erica. And yeah, it just goes to show we have the best employees. I did want to share something though, because Reyes and John told me that they get a really great support from the incarceration, the prisoners that come and help. And there's about 4 of them, they said, and they do a fantastic job as well. And I know we don't recognize them, but I just wanted to kind of do a shout out to say that that program is beneficial to them and to us as well. So thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Erica, thank you. Okay, on to 2C, presentation of March 31st, 23 through April 30th, 23, and May 31st, 23. Gila County financial data as it compares to the fiscal year 23 Gila County budget and fiscal years 2022, 21, 20, and 19 year-to-date performance. Good morning, Maren.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. It would have been nice if I included my attachments today.
It's okay, we got them now.
Yep.
Sorry about that. My agenda quick and I were not apparently cooperating with each other. So what each of you have are the past 3 months bar charts that will go in the budget book, and those just show you and our constituents where we were relative to budget and that month's targets. There's nothing super interesting in them, and I know you've been through several presentations already this morning, so I'm just going to give you the highlights for the month of May, and then we'll be back probably in September with an update on where we ended for the year. So at the end of May 2023, which is 11 months into the fiscal year, our general fund revenues were at 89% of the annual budget, which compares to a 92% target. And in total, we were 1.6 million over the same time in 2022. Of that 1.6, excise tax made up almost half of it, with $741,000 in additional excise tax and 18% of additional state shared sales tax. For expenditures, we were at 92% of the budget, including encumbrances, compared to 92% year-to-date target, which is exactly where you want to be. We were $5 million higher than the previous year. And of that, 2.3 million was encumbrances. And then compared to the prior year, salaries and benefits were about $4 million over the previous year. And then we had a couple other line items that were a little higher, so that summary is right there on the front page, including a little bit of extra detail so that you, as our supervisors and the public, when we bring the budget book in a few months, so that data is available and we're being transparent. And so you as the supervisors know, and so the general public knows, our financial data is uploaded quarterly to the state transparency site, and members of the public or members of staff or elected officials can go on that page and use the different tools to see what kind of graphs and stuff you get out of that. They're not as granular as what we give you here for general fund, but they are transaction by transaction. So anybody that wanted to see could go look at that. Happy to answer any questions, and happy to make sure I attach my attachments correctly next time.
Thank you, Mayor. Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Mayor. No questions.
Great.
Good job as usual, Mayor. Thank
Well,
you so much for putting that together.
And thank you to all the department heads and electeds who make it possible to present data that shows everybody's doing really well.
Sure does,
Thank
so
you.
thank you so much. Okay, we'll get on to number 3, public hearings. And we'll start with 3A, information, discussion, action. To consider a liquor license application, county number LL-23-12, submitted by Monica Goodwin for the transfer of a Series 6 bar license with an interim permit to operate at the Weekender at 120 Rawls Drive, located in Strawberry, and issue a recommendation to the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control whether the license should be granted. Sam, you ready for this?
Just one second, I wanted to confirm something here.
Here?
Thank you. Okay. As stated, this is a Series 12 restaurant liquor license application for the Weekender located in Strawberry. The county does have an internal review process whereby the treasurer reviews the application and ensures that the applicant is current on property tax payments for all properties owned in Gila County. The health department and the building permitting department both review the application. To date, there have been issues reported for the Weekender by the building permitting department relevant to that area of review, to which I'll ask Randy Plumer to explain.
Hey, come on up.
The Weekender.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisor. So the issue that we found on this one is it is the wrong address. This address is going to 105, I believe, Paul, or Raleigh's.
It's 120 Rawls Drive.
And their structure is 7 something. I can't remember the exact number, but they have had it at that Weekender, and I think that number has been used in the past, but during our review we saw that it had the wrong address. I believe the applicant stated that they called liquor board. That was the number I think that was out there when it first started, but it's the wrong address, so we denied it on our part. Wrong structure, so they don't even own the property that when we did our research for that number.
Okay. You ready for questions?
Certainly, sir.
Supervisor Humphrey?
Yeah, well, yeah, my question is the wrong address is the wrong address. And, you know, applying for one in one place and having it at another could create difficulties, I would think. And if we passed it on to the state liquor board of a wrong address, I don't know that I could support that myself, so no further questions.
Supervisor Chris?
So Randy, if you Google search the 120 Rawls versus the 7,000 whatever, and we did that this morning with Samantha, they're like virtually the same spot, or are they not?
When I Googled them with staff, we found an empty field and the structure. So we went on their Facebook page, we did the Google. So the 105 or the 120 shows an empty field. And then the I'm sorry, I don't remember that. But we went to their Facebook page and Google Earth, and it shows the actual building.
So they're kind of adjacent, are they? Even though the numbers are way far.
Right, yes, and that street's not big, it's not huge. It could be, but they showed two different owners.
So my only question would be, what kind of legal jeopardy does that put us in if we go ahead and pass this without that correction being made?
Chairman, member supervisors, so just so that the board understands, you are not passing anything, you're not approving the liquor license. What you're doing is you're submitting a recommendation over to the liquor board, who then makes a determination themselves. So your recommendation typically looks like something, yes, we would go ahead and submit a recommendation for the liquor board to approve this. Here, what you could do is submit that recommendation, but indicate that it's the wrong address.
Okay, all right, that's very helpful, thank you, that's all I have.
So, Jessica, I mean, if it's just a matter of the wrong address, isn't that an easy fix, correction?
If they I'm not sure what the documentation looks like, but I'm assuming that the applicant is submitting a fiscal address there, or a physical address. And you would have to clarify that what's pulling up on our books is something different.
So we may have a chance here in just a minute to ask that question. I guess I'm curious if the owner just messed up on the address and got the whatever wrong.
Chairman, is the owner there in
I think in Payson.
She's there.
Yeah, I think she's at the podium in Payson, so when I open it
I'm here. I'm here.
Sure.
Okay,
When you open up for a public hearing, she can.
yeah. If you'll just hang on real tight, I'll have
Okay.
you talk about here in a minute. I'm just sitting here thinking if it's not at this address, it should be this one, it should be an easy fix, I guess, my simple way of
And
saying
that
it,
was
so.
kind of what staff thought too, but like I said, we didn't want to approve something that had the wrong address.
No, I'm glad you brought it to our attention. I mean, yeah, absolutely, so. You guys have anything else you want to comment on or say?
I'm good, thank you.
The only thing that I was concerned about, because I have no objection to approving, but that there would be no legal consequence because it was posted at 120, but the actual address is not actually right there. But I'm hearing from Jessica that we could make a motion that clarifies that in the motion.
I think Jessica's got more to add.
Yes, Chairman, member supervisors, it's quite interesting. So there's no statutory authority giving the board the ability to submit this recommendation to the Liquor License and Control Board. However, they are asking the county for their input.
Okay.
I think we've been down this road in the past.
And the
Yeah.
Weekender's been there. I
Mhm.
don't want to leave any misconstrued that the structure is fine, it's just a strong address.
Okay. Are we good for you guys? All right, so at this time, I'll open it up for public comments, and we'll start with you there in Payson. Just let us know your name and address, all that.
Monica Godwin. And the address has been the address for as long as we know. And I think it is the reason why they've never redone it is because whoever did it back in the past did that with the liquor board. And with the liquor board, if you're just not transferring, if you change everything, you have to go through the whole process of reapplying. And even just to transfer, it takes numerous months to do that. But to reapply for the address takes a lot longer, and we're just trying to get everything kind of moving and everything in the names that it's supposed to be in. That address has been recognized through Google. It's recognized by the liquor board. It's recognized by LoopNet. It is a different address, but they are the same for the Weekender.
Okay. Supervisor Humphrey, you have any questions for her?
Yeah, I guess I do. So being it's been licensed under the wrong address, we want to keep it licensed under the wrong address. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
To make it
Yes.
simpler?
Yes.
So is the person that is the owner of this address aware and,
Yes.
and okay with the fact that he's got a liquor license on his property that's not his property or his liquor license?
Yes.
Okay, no more questions.
So, welcome to Northern Arizona. You know.
Supervisor Christensen.
Yeah, thank you. I think I understand the predicament, Monica. So I really have no questions.
Okay.
I really don't know what to ask at this point in time. You know, how long has the Weekender been there, Monica? How long has this been going on?
Well, it was the Weekender it's been almost 3 years, and it was the Bear prior to that. It was the Strawberry Bear prior to that. So we're talking back to, I think this has been at least 10, 15 years, I think. Maybe even longer than that. I don't know.
Ms. Chairman, it goes way back. It used to be the Black Bear.
Yes,
I've eaten
exactly.
there 40 years ago, I've eaten there.
So I guess, you know, what I'm hearing is part of this deal is our fault as well. I see. We missed it in the past.
No, not.
We missed
ours.
we missed it in the address there on this. I see. Go ahead, Jessica. The liquor board did, since we're not statutorily required to do whatever.
Correct. The board does not have.
You're giving me a way out, aren't you, Jessica?
No, you do not have authority to.
Right, I got it.
For liquor.
Amazing. Okay. Is there anybody here in Globe have anything to say about it? Anybody else in Payson want to talk on it? No one else? Monica, thank you.
Thank you.
And Cassie, is there anything on YouTube? I didn't think so. Okay. So with that, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to recommend that the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control approve the liquor license application submitted by Monica Godwin for the Weekender, which is located on Rawls Drive in Strawberry.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Are you asleep? Okay, it's awful quiet over there. All right, on to 3B, information, discussion, action to consider a liquor license application, county number LL-23-13, submitted by Felix Stepsky for a new Series 4 wholesaler license at Marlowe Wines, 9634 West Fossil Creek Road, located in Strawberry, and issue a recommendation to the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control whether the license should be granted. Sam?
Thank you, Chairman. As stated, this is a Series 4 wholesaler liquor license application for Marlowe Wines, located in Strawberry. The county does have an internal review process whereby the treasurer reviews the application and ensures the applicant is current on property tax payments for all properties owned in Gila County. The Health Department and Building Permitting Department both review the application. To date, there have been issues reported for Marlowe Wines, both by the Health Department and the Building Permitting Department, relevant to their area of review, to which I ask that Randy Plumer and Michael O'Driscoll explain.
Come on up, Randy.
Normally these are so easy, sir, but, so this one is in the middle of a neighborhood, which is zoned R1, and there are deed restrictions that say no businesses are allowed on this property. So during our review process, with the home business like this, the Series 4 allows for taste testing, and we've kind of, whether they do that or not, that is allowed under that Series 4, and that's not what's supposed to be going on in this neighborhood as the zoning. And again, we looked at options for them to move forward. There are deed restrictions to say no businesses, and the structure of the garage does not meet the requirements. This would be an S2 change, and a garage is normally a U. So there would be structural, or not structural changes, but there have to be some rating changes that could occur or may be needed to require. Depends on the alcohol limit on wines, and wines can be quite high and some are fairly low. So it would go into an S2 requirement as far as the building code would require.
Okay, and Michael, did we have something from the health department?
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. And currently, the health department can't sign off on this liquor license because it's in a residential property, and the board or planning and zoning hasn't voted to allow that type of business in a residential property. But if that does come to fruition, then they would have to adhere to the FDA 2017 Food Code Construction Guidelines for any type of food product, and the state health department does define a food product as a winery, a brewery, or a distillery. So that's where the health department stands right now.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Supervisor Humphrey, questions, comments?
I don't have any questions. My comments are the deed restrictions are against it. Building's not suitable for commercial. Health department doesn't support it. That's my only comment.
Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Michael and Randy. So this is a interesting one, because we theoretically could approve the liquor license knowing that the consequence of ever using that is extremely unlikely, if you understand my comment. So we could approve the license, but he would not be able to use it because he's in a residential area, deed restrictions. He'd have to apply for a CUP to do it. Is that correct?
Correct, sir. And even if the Liquor Commission of Arizona issues a liquor license, they still would not be able to use their home until they go through the process of going through planning and zoning, getting the deed restrictions lifted, as well as dealing with the health department.
So normally, would you do that first before you did this, or?
Correct, you would.
It just seems out of order to me. And even though I encourage business and everything, it seems to be the wrong location for this type of business to me. I don't know that the neighbors have had any input on this. They wouldn't have, because there's been no CUP applied for.
Correct, sir. So part of the CUP process is to reach out to the neighboring properties within 300 feet of this particular property and get their feedback, whether they are for this or against this.
Okay.
And then we bring it in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and after the Planning and Zoning Commission, we bring it in front of the board.
Okay, I think I understand it. Thank you.
You betcha, sir.
I don't believe I have any questions on that. At all. Well, I would have one, I guess. Is it coming up in front of the Planning and Zoning sometime in the future, Randy, or do you know?
No application for a CUP is applied for at this point.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. With that, I'll open up to public hearing. And Payson, I believe we have one. Go ahead and state your name and where you're from, and we'll go from there.
Hey, my name is Felix Stepsky. I'm the owner of Marlowe Wines, and I'm also the resident of that Spoken residence. So we are a wine importer mainly, and I am applying for a liquor license in order to sell wine to retailers. How we do it, I've never intended to do any kind of business out of my house. The only reason why we did that is because of the first shipment that we received, which was 2 pallets of wine, which is around 800 bottles, which I have currently stored in my garage while we are setting up our business operations. What we have done so far, we have done wine samplings at premises, and all our sales are on premise. So we go to retailers directly and sample wines, and if they like it, they would place an order. We had lots of interest, so I'm already preparing my next shipment of wine, which is going to be way larger, which I can no longer possibly store at my own property. So I'm already having an agreement with City Storage in Payson. They have a climate-controlled warehouse, and this is the place where we're going to store all our merchandise. So I never intend to do any kind of business at my property. I went to talked to the zoning department, and they said I would. Actually, I talked to the liquor license, and they said if I want to change my whole address, I would have to reapply for the entire license, withdraw my current license, and that would probably throw me back 3 to 4 months. So what I'm here is to make my case that we as Marlow Wines are solely storing our first shipment at my property right now, but I'm already moving all my merchandise over to city storage, and my subsequent shipping will also be stored there. And it's a commercial area. It's way easier to go in and out, and I don't have to deal with anything at my own home. The only reason why we did it at my home was to get started. You know, I didn't know how the wine is going to perform, and a lot of people love it, so we are already preparing our next shipment. And I didn't want to pay for a warehouse that I wasn't using for many months, but now everything seems to be going on, and we are already moving to a warehouse. So that's my current situation here right now.
All right, Felix, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey, you have any questions for Felix?
Just one. So you're applied for liquor license for your home, correct?
While I applied for my liquor license, I applied it for my home because I wasn't really aware that my property is business restricted, and I just needed to have an address to apply for the liquor license, you know, because I didn't have a commercial address yet. I didn't want to rent a warehouse for many months without having anything in there, so I thought might as well just use my own address. Yeah. But I never intended to do business out of my home. I never intend to do wine tastings at my home. My wife would kill me if I would do that. I literally have it to store my first pallets there, and they're already moving out to a storage.
If I may ask, if you're not going to do any business at your home and you're going to move your storage to another place in town, where are you going to do your business with the license that you're applying for?
Our business is solely on premise. So I go to retailers.
It will be at your home.
No, on premise, at the retailer's premise. So I go to the valley, I go to wine bars, I go to restaurants. I go there by myself, person to person, and then I'll sample the wine, and if they like it, they put an order in, and then I personally deliver the wine. So it's just sitting at the storage. I go into the storage, take the boxes out, and drive to the retailer.
Okay, no further questions, Mr. Chair, other than I've been to the liquor board before to try to go against some of the, because if you get a license, you get the license, and whatever comes with the license. It doesn't specify storage, it doesn't specify anything. And so I've been to Arizona Liquor Board to try to put restrictions on a license for certain things, and it was a real difficult deal. Mm-hmm. And so in this case, I feel it would be difficult for a license for a residential area that's against the deed restriction.
I'll get to you in a minute, James. Go ahead, Steve.
Mr. Stepsky, thank you for the information. Sounds like you're having a diminishing need to have it at your home. But my question really is not to you, it's to either Randy or Michael. Is Mr. Stepsky allowed right now with no changes or any conditions from community development to simply store wine in his garage and then eventually move it to another location? Is that allowed?
It is not allowed to have a business operation at his current address in his garage. Now, I'll leave it at that.
Is it considered a business to have a pass through his garage on the product?
Would I come to someone's house and say if they have a bottle of wine, if that's a business? No. But they have submitted for the liquor license and put this down as the business address. So we would consider this a business that he has stated that he is running. He's taking the wine and doing his taste testing and trying to sell it. This is a business currently.
Yeah, if he reapplies for a liquor license at another location that would allow for it, but it has some wine in his garage, is he in violation of the code currently? He just admitted that he has wine in his garage right now. So is that a vague area?
Well, he could turn around and, currently what is stated, that is a violation. He has said he is running a business and he has taken the first shipment and is storing it in his garage. So that is a violation of his deed restrictions and of the zoning. Again, would I come out and if you had a pallet of wine in your garage that you were consuming, is that a violation? No. But for the applicant and trying to get a liquor license for that address, yes, that is a violation.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that. So I think Mr. Stepsky's looking maybe for some direction, and that would be to continue seeking a different location, and he may need to apply for another location due to the fact that it makes it very difficult for us to approve something that's not going to work once he applies for a CUP.
Right.
Okay.
And it sounds like he's found another warehouse. And
Right.
That may be totally compliant. It's in Payson, so really probably is not us. At that moment, then it would be the town of Payson that would go out and inspect to make sure that that business is allowed there. So if that address was changed to there, I don't believe it would even be in front of you.
Well, and I know of another person, good friend, that was in the wine wholesale business, lived in Elk Ridge, okay, in Payson, and could not operate her business through her home, even though it was simply storage. So that's why I'm asking that specific question.
And again, there's alcohol content in wines. I went through this several times. Is a pretty big difference, and 15% is the kind of the threshold number. And if you're under 15%, which a lot of wines are, but there's a lot of wines that are over that, that requires a whole nother risk level as far as building goes.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
James, you still have something you want to say?
Mr. Chairman, I had a question that first comments were made by Mr. Stepsky that he had held wine tasting at his home or at his business location.
No, not at my home. I had wine tastings at the retailer's premise. So I'm going to retailers and I'm just simply sampling. I haven't sold a single bottle of wine. I'm not allowed to sell any wine. I have a federal permit from the TTB, which allows me to import and distribute wine. And I'm allowed to hold samplings and solicit orders. And that's all we have done, but never at our own premise. We always went to the restaurants and to the wine bars.
Good, James? I think it gets down to the fact that it's just not zoned, it's not in the ordinance to do this, and I think Mr. Felix there is gonna end up needing to reapply. That's what it sounds to me. Jessica, there's no other way around that, is there? I mean,
Chairman, member supervisors, I'm not sure if it would be helpful for him to have you guys submit a recommendation for approval for the other address. Doesn't seem like it would be sufficient for the liquor board because they do require applicants to start the whole process over once there's a change of address.
yeah, and
that'll put me back probably 4 or 5 months of time.
yeah, and that's unfortunate. I think it's just that our hands are gonna be tied on this one, but let's see where it goes. Is there anybody else in Payson that wants to speak of this? No? No one in Globe? No one on YouTube? I'll close the public hearing. And you two ready? I entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to not recommend that the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control approve the liquor license application submitted by Monica Goodwin for the Weekender.
No.
No,
Nope, wrong one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, wrong one.
Yeah, okay,
Hang on.
Are you wanting to submit a recommendation to the liquor board that you want them to not approve it? Or are you wanting to not submit a recommendation at all?
Mr. Chair, I move to not make a recommendation at all.
I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. All right, on to regular agenda items. Number 4. 4A, information discussion action to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Gila County Recorder's Office, the Gila County Division of Elections, and the Payson Unified School District to provide election services through December 31st, 26, with 1-year automatic renewals thereafter. Eric, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Klein, Supervisor Christensen, Supervisor Humphrey. And this is just a approval of an intergovernmental agreement for election services. First up on the list is the Payson Unified School District. We'll be back in the future with Miami Unified School District and others as we come up and we renew these contracts. And it's just a verbiage change that was required, and so that's what we're here for today.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Christensen.
No questions.
I'm good, Eric. Thank you, sir. With that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Gila County Recorder's Office and the Gila County Division of Elections and the Payson Unified School District to provide election services as presented.
I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Supervisors.
4B, information discussion action to approve the use of the State of Arizona Contract Agreement number CTR 059323 with Santan Ford Partners LLC in the amount of $528,891.36 for the purchase of 6 new 24 Ford Expedition 4-door 4x4 SSVs as outlined in the specifications to be utilized as patrol vehicles for the Gila County Sheriff's Office. And Homer, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. The agenda item, we've talked about this before, is for the board to consider approving the purchase of 6 new Ford Expeditions to use as patrol vehicles for the Gila County Sheriff's Department. Earlier the year, we shared a presentation for you with there's 60 patrol vehicles that we have. We have 24 of them older than 10 years, and we're trying to continue to modernize our fleet, and this is an effort to do that. The order window has opened recently, and we would like to use a state contract to purchase the six expeditions. The cost for the 6 new expeditions, as specified and outfitted, is $528,891.36. The source of funding is $500,000 from ARPA and the remainder from general fund. So with that, I'll entertain questions and request your approval.
Thank you, Homer. Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions, Mr.
Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Homero. No questions.
You know, when I read this agenda item, I thought, I was trying to think back in the past, I thought we'd already approved this as soon as the windows was to open to go ahead and do it, because that's been the holdup on a lot of our fleet, is just the process or the opportunity to place orders.
We had it ready, and we wasted no time bringing it to you, and perhaps that may have been the case. I don't recall exactly, but we're here, I think, in a very prompt fashion.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for updating us on this, and we'll vote on it again if need be. So with that, James, you're good? I'd entertain a motion.
As long as this isn't times 2. I'll make
Well, you can put that in your motion?
No, just.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just say that it was approved for 500,000.
Okay.
And this is, the actual bids came in $28,000 more. And so this is because it's 28,000 more to get that approval.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure it wasn't times 2. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the use of the State of Arizona Contract Agreement number CTR 059323 with Santan Ford Partners LLC in the amount of $528,891.36.
I will second.
As presented.
I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Homer. On to C, information, discussion, action to authorize advertisement of invitation for bids number 071023, the Gila Roadway Improvement Project. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members. This is a request to advertise an invitation for bids number 071023, Gila Road Roadway Improvements Project. A little bit of background. The proposed work is on Gila Road for approximately 1.7 miles from the roadway high point to the Tano Creek Shores intersection. The improvements consist of milling the existing chip seal, compacting the milled material in place, and placing a double chip seal with a fog coat on top of the compacted material. Additional work includes widening 3 curves to improve visibility and drivability, and then new striping will also be placed on the chip seal. Woodson Engineering and Survey have prepared plans, specifications, and a project estimate. The project is budgeted to be funded from the half-cent Transportation Excise Fund. So Gila Road is a 2-lane roadway with it had an average annual daily traffic of 596 vehicles, and that was in 2022, and it's classified as a major collector. It provides access to the communities of Gila and the Tano National Forest. This section of roadway has deteriorated and shows signs of cracking, rutting, potholes, and other surface defects. The primary objective of the project is to improve the driving surface and improve drivability of the 3 curves by widening them on both the inside and outside of the curves. In conclusion, the project will improve drivability on this section of Gila Road by widening those 3 curves and then milling and doing a new double chip seal on top of the old material. The Public Works Director recommends that the Board of Supervisors approve the advertisement for invitation for bids 071023 for the Gila Road Roadway Improvement Project. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tom. Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions other than thank you very much for getting this up, because I believe it was supposed to be done about a year or so ago, and so I'm grateful that you have found it and found the funding, and I also appreciate the fact that you're widening some of those curves, because on the first part going in with a long gooseneck trailer, you can't make some of those turns without taking up the complete road. So nothing other than thank you very much.
Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, we need to keep our roads maintained. Looks like a good project. I remember when all this was dirt, so that was bad. So thanks.
Thank you.
Tom, how long will this be out for bids?
It'll be out about 30 days.
About 30 days? Yes. And so are we gonna be able to get to work on this year?
Yes, sir. Our goal is to finish it this year.
Right on. Thank you. So with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to authorize the advertisement of invitation for bid number 071023.
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
On to D, information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 1 to contract number 051122-bulk fuel and lubricant with Synergy Petroleum LLC to extend the term of the contract for 1 additional year from July 19th, 23 to July 18th, 24 for the purchase of bulk fuel and lubricants for a not to exceed the amount of $1,200,000. Homero.
Thank you. Back in July of 22nd of 2022, the board approved a contract 051122 for bulk fuel and lubricants. It was for a 1-year term, but it allowed for three annual renewals. We would like to renew this contract for the first time using amendment number 1 to this contract and continue to use the prices that were offered to us on the competitive bidding that took place in 2022. And the way that competitive bidding, the prices are established is using a commodity price for fuels. It's a nationwide information system available to all OPIS, and it publishes weekly numbers for the price of fuel on a regional basis. And so when they deliver fuel to our various locations in the county, all the road yards, the price is based on that location and based on the weekly price that is generated by that commodity index. So it's something that we can renew and feel good that we're enjoying the benefit of the competitive bidding that we undertook last year. The dollar amount, $1.2 million, is similar as the last year, the first year, and we think that will be sufficient to cover our fuel costs for this year. And with that, I will entertain questions or ask for your approval.
Thank you, Homer. Supervisor Humphrey?
Mr. Chair, I have no question.
Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Homero. Is that money HERF money then?
HERF money, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Homer. That I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 1 to contract number 051122 with Synergy Petroleum as presented.
I will second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. On to E, information discussion action to approve collection agreement number 070623 with the Arizona Game and Fish Department with a not to exceed amount of $284,674 to provide environmental monitoring during the remaining construction of the Tunnel Creek Bridge. Tom?
Thank you. So this is a request for approval of collection agreement number 070623 between Gila County and the Arizona Game and Fish Department for the environmental monitoring on the Tunnel Creek Bridge construction project. So a little bit of background. On December 28th, 2021, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service issued the biological opinion for the Tunnel Creek Bridge project. One requirement of the biological opinion is that a qualified and certified biologist shall monitor the project to avoid incidental take of northern Mexican garter snakes, yellow-billed cuckoos, and southwestern willow flycatchers. On August 15th, 2022, Gila County entered into an initial collection agreement number 072522 with the Arizona Game and Fish Department. That agreement expired on July 30th, 2023. And as I mentioned, the Arizona Game and Fish Department is providing an assigned biologist to monitor the project on a daily basis. He has to be there prior to the start of work. He has to look under all the vehicles before any vehicles are moved, and he has to remain there throughout the entire day until all work is finished. So the evaluation is, again, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has required that a qualified and certified biologist monitor the project. And Arizona Game and Fish is doing that for us. And again, it's for the Mexican garter snake, yellow-billed cuckoo, and the southwestern willow flycatcher. So Arizona Game and Fish has provided this requirement since the project started, August 15th, 2022. This is a request for a new agreement that will be in effect from July 6th, 2023 to May 25th, 2024. And this agreement will be in the amount of $284,674. So it is the recommendation of the Public Works Director and Gila County Public Works Department that we enter into this collection agreement with the Arizona Game and Fish Department to continue their environmental monitoring during the remainder of the construction of the Tunnel Creek Bridge project. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tom. Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions.
Supervisor Christensen?
I have a question, Tom. Is this part of the original bid that we did, or is this on top of it, addition to it? Because I know we agreed to have this done, but we already agreed to do it. This is just a update in the contract.
Correct. So
Okay.
it's kind of complicated. In our agreement with Arizona Department of Transportation, who is administering the project, we have set aside $175,000 for for this monitoring requirement. So far we've only paid 2 invoices to Arizona Game and Fish totaling $61,625. So we still have, if you take the 175,000 minus the 61, we have that remainder before we would have to come up with additional funds. So there is a remainder in the current contract that we have with ADOT. And what we do is we send the invoices to ADOT. They pay Arizona Game and Fish for us. Once we hit that, once we run out of that 175,000, then we would have to get into these new funds. The only thing this agreement is doing is establishing the new agreement because the old one expired, and the rates did go up about 5 to 10% on some of the items.
Okay. All right, thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve Arizona Game and Fish Department Collection Agreement number 070623 in the amount of $284,674 as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that motion.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
On to F, information, discussion, action to adopt resolution number 23-08-01, supporting a grant application to the Gila River Indian Community for the Christopher Coles Fire District and authorizing Gila County to act as a fiscal agent and accept a gaming grant award to Christopher Coles Fire District in the amount of $235,000 for the purchase of a new Type 6 brush truck. And we have Marin here and Rhett Conley. See him pacing?
I believe so. That would be the
There
battalion
he is.
chief from
Okay.
Christopher Coles.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Brett Conley with Christopher Coles Fire District. I thank you for having me here. Today I'm here on behalf of Fire Chief Robert Lockhart. He was unable to attend, unfortunately. He was successful in writing a grant to the Gila River Indian Community, and I believe it was for the amount of $255,000 for a Type 6 brush truck for our district. One of the requirements of the grant, as you had stated previously, is the grant money has to go through the county before we can receive it. And I believe that the Gila River Indian Community has to have a signed resolution prior to August 17th.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're good with that, Mary?
That's it.
Any
Mr. Connolly
questions?
took care of it.
Supervisor Humphrey?
Just one. Did you say that the truck, the amount of the truck was how much?
I believe that the grant was for a total of $255,000.
Okay, because I have in front of me 235,000, and if it's 255,000, I'm just wondering where the other 20,000 was coming from.
If you don't mind, let me check an email real quick, and I can verify that for
Yeah,
you.
no, that's fine. I just trying to save confusion
the
if we approve a
application?
grant and it's short of
Let's
the
see.
amount.
See if there's an amount.
Yeah, it may very well be for 200.
It does say
Go ahead.
255, so we have a typo in the agenda item. So we'll need to change the requested resolution to be 255,000.
Is that okay with the Gila River Indian community that we just change it 20?
Well, this is the application that was
Okay, well, I
submitted
can't
to
see
them
it. It's
in
fine.
March.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking at what's in front of me.
On their does their approval say 235? Okay, sorry. Okay, so the 235 is correct. Okay, I'm sorry. So we looked at the wrong
But
attachment.
it may not be correct. It may be correct, but it may not be the correct amount.
I think this could go around all day. If you're good, Supervisor Christensen, how about you?
I have no questions, thank you.
I don't either. So with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Well, I guess I've got a question before I give you a motion. Is where's the other 20 coming from? if
No,
it's
it's,
truck cost?
Sam, you want to repeat what you just said a minute ago? Yeah.
Yes, they requested 255,000, but the tribe only awarded them 235,000. That's all they're getting.
235 is it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess they're gonna get a discount on the truck, or
I hope so.
come up with 20,000 of constituent funds or something similar.
District 1.
But I just don't, I just, approving a grant for a different amount than what it, okay.
There it is.
Okay, I'll make a motion. Mr. Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 23-08-01 as presented.
I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. Thank you, Rhett.
Thank you.
On to G, information, discussion, action to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Apache Junction and Gila County Community Services Housing Department to receive community development block grant allocations through Central Arizona Governments for FY24 to Gila County and FY25 to the city. Kylie?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good morning. This is a request for your approval so that we can share the community development block grant funding with the City of Apache Junction. This has come about because the funding amounts that we're getting continue to be lower each year, and so they've allowed us to combine funds with the City of Apache Junction in order to really make an impact for developing viable communities, providing decent housing and suitable living environments for our community. So there's no matching requirement, and we're looking at approximately $130,000, give or take, combined.
Okay. Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no question.
Supervisor Christian?
Thank you, Kaylee. No questions.
Is this something we've done in the past?
Yes, sir. So this is the second year that we're doing this combined
Okay.
with the city. So we actually did get, this is 2 years in a row that the county has had the funds, so next year it will be on the City of Apache Junction. And
Okay.
then we'll be back on schedule for alternating.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Gila County and the City of Apache Junction as presented.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. On to H, information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 9 to an intergovernmental agreement, contract number DI 20-002263 between the Arizona Department of Economic Security and the Gila County Community Services Department to include the total value of the itemized service budget of $396,219 to be used as rent and utility assistance for the period of July 1st, 23 through June 30th, 24. Haley, you're it again.
Yes, sir. Chairman, members of the board. This IGA first came about in 2020, so this is amendment number 9 for, like you said, utility and rental assistance, just shy of $400,000. And this funding also has no matching requirement, and it comes from the Department of Economic Security.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey?
Just one. In the rent and utilities, is the rent, is that for like people that need rental assistance, or is part of that, would part of that be for temporary housing for homeless?
So this is specific to rental.
Okay.
We have other grants that are specific to homelessness. This actually is the acronym is TANF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, so you have to have children under 18 in the household to qualify for that specific
Okay.
rental pot of money. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Chairman. No, I have no question.
I'm good as well. So with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 9 to the intergovernment agreement contract number DI 20002263 in the amount of $396,000 to $219 as presented.
I will second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. On to I, information, discussion, action to approve funding agreement number 203-24 between the Arizona Department of Housing and Gila County Community Services Department. Housing Services to use low-income home energy assistance program and Department of Energy Weatherization Readiness Fund in the amount of $218,482 for the period of July 1st, 23 through June 30th, 24. Kaylee?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is another grant that we get every year for weatherization assistance, primarily used to reduce fuel and electricity expenses for our clients, while also improving the health and safety in their homes. Like you mentioned, it comes from the Department of Energy, and this also has no matching requirement.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey?
Are you having any luck with local contractors?
Some. The requirements are a bit stringent, but we are having some luck.
And they're like BPI certified with the state to do weatherization? Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Kaylee. No questions.
I'm good as well. So with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, move to approve Arizona Department of Housing funding agreement number 203-24 in the amount of $218,482 as presented.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Your last one, Kaylee. J, information, discussion, action to authorize the Gila County Community Services Department to submit a grant application to the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority of Arizona in the amount of $250,000 for a clean water project titled Countywide Cesspool Elimination Project for the period of 2 years. We got two of you. So who's doing this?
Good morning,
Michael?
Chairman. I'll do this one.
Okay.
So it's a joint effort between the Health Department, Environmental Health Department, and Community Services. So this is a unique opportunity that Gila County has, working with WIFA, to get funds available for homeowners that meet the income qualifications if they live in a cesspool, to get their cesspool eliminated and get a brand new septic system for that property paid for. And this is a grant application that Kaylee and Josh have been working on with WIFA, which allows that for Gila County. So we would be sort of the test case in Arizona, in Gila County. It's a great program. In the body of the agenda, you see it's a loan forgiveness. Don't let that fool you. They're going to pay the contractors directly to get the work done for homeowners. So this is a great possible option for homeowners to eliminate their cesspools if they have issues with it, and also to protect the groundwater that we have in Gila County. And so it's for 2 years, $250,000 a year, and it's a test case in Arizona to see if this program is going to work.
Good. Supervisor Humphrey?
Well, one, I think it's a great program. Two, the only qualified that you need to participate in this is to have a cesspool.
A cesspool, and there's going to be an income qualification.
Income as well.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I just hope that some of our properties are available, because some of them may not have room for leach and all those things, but because that can grow, and so then they got to do a perk test prior to, so that's included as well. So I hope a lot of the money is able to go to help people with cesspools instead of perk tests and things that don't show up, or people that don't have room. So thank you very much for putting in for this, and And I hope it works for the people.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, we need to get all the money we can get to fix the cesspool problem. So this is not related at all to the discussion we've been having about porta-johns, right? I mean,
No,
it
this is
does
a
not
separate
provide
discussion.
money to remedy septic systems that are overtaxed or anything like that.
Correct, this is something.
Something
that
else,
is
okay.
separate, yes.
Thank you.
So Michael, what happens if you're in the Tri-City Sanitation District?
So currently, Tri-Cities is, their plan is to move forward with construction in about a year if they find a location that's been approved for their wastewater treatment plant. So currently, what we would do for this is hold off on the Tri-City area for a first year until we find out whether they're gonna move forward with construction. In the future, if the construction doesn't come through, then those people in the Tri-City Sanitary District area would be eligible as well.
Okay. And so what's the income level?
Oh, I think is about requirement of 59,321.
Okay.
Less than.
Yeah, less than, correct.
Or less. Okay. That's a good program. Sounds like a really good deal, so. Any more questions? You're good?
Other than, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that would be under qualifications. So if I get asked, it's like, you're in the Tri-City District, hold on, because you don't qualify.
Well, the thing is if that's gonna go through, yeah, we'd just be throwing money out there for.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
I agree.
With that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize the Gila County Community Service Department to submit a grant application to the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority of Arizona in the amount of $250,000 as presented.
I will second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. You got a lot of money now, Kaylee.
Yes, sir.
All right, on to K, information, discussion, action to approve the Economic Development Agreement number 053123 in the amount of $5,000 between Gila County and Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Incorporated, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public. Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you. I have a request from the Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Group in the Pine Strawberry area who conducts a brush pit up there as well. They've been working since 2007 to help Firewise Properties. They are a great group of people, and this is just a continuing request annually from my constituent funds, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no question.
And neither do I. Good job. So with that, I entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Economic Development Grant Agreement number 053123 with the Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Incorporated in the amount of $5,000, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
I'll second that, Mr.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. L, information, discussion, action to approve Economic Development Grant Agreement number 070223 between Gila County and Katie's Closet, Inc. in the amount of $1,000 to assist in providing undergarments, socks, shoes, and clothing to marginalized youth of Gila County, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public. Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, and it's just that. This is a group that's been around for a long time, and they collect clothing, they purchase clothing, and to help those who cannot afford the clothing for the youth in Gila County in, I think, basically the northern Gila County area. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions.
Neither do I, so, but thank you for doing that.
Thanks.
And with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Economic Development Grant Agreement number 070223 with Katie's Closet Incorporated in the amount of $1,000, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. M, information, discussion, action to approve Economic Development Grant Agreement number 070323 between Gila County and the Payson Pilots Association in the amount of $1,200 to provide venue support and contribute to aviation education in Gila County, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public. Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you. Once again, constituent funds being requested to support an event that will occur this coming fall, if I remember right. The Payson Pilots Association is a very active group they conduct an aero fair event, and they also are very involved in aviation education. I remember my own children going through that process back when they offer rides and education on the future of their possible choices in becoming a pilot and learning more about aviation. I'll answer any questions.
Supervisor Humphrey, questions?
Yeah, I do. Are they a non-profit organization?
Yes, sir, they are.
Pardon me?
Yes, sir, they are.
Oh, okay, thank you.
They're a 501c3.
Okay.
You know, if I remember right, this particular association, they go around and work on different airstrips as well around the rim, don't they?
I couldn't speak to that.
I believe they've been.
They have in the past.
Yeah, I believe they do. They kind of keep up on all that, so which is a really good thing. With that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve Economic Development Grant Agreement 070323 with the Payson Pilots Association in the amount of $1,200, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Okay, I'm just gonna let you all know what we're doing on N at 1:30 this afternoon, which we may have to reconvene for. There will be an auction to conduct an auction for the sale of 1,260 square footage of assessor's parcel number 206-10-076. Homer, I guess you'll be ready for that when it comes up. So, yes, ma'am.
Member supervisors, I just want to notate for the public that the bids will be accepted at 12:45 to 1:15.
12:45 to 1:15.
Correct, that is on the public notice.
Okay.
Will be conducted at 1:30 where you're making the determination, but those beginning bids are going to be accepted from 12:45 to 1:15. Merrill?
So anyone out there listening, you can put your bid in at 12:45 to 1:15. You have 30 minutes to place a bid, which will be sealed bids, I would imagine, right? Is that right? Are they sealed? You're gonna put your auctioneer hat on? Is that what you're saying, Sam?
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
So this is property owned by the county that we're auctioning off?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I have been in situations lately where I have talked about selling county property, and it had to at least be sold for 90% of the appraised value. So if this auction does not bring 90% of the appraised value of this property, will that property still be sold?
No, Chairman, member supervisors. So the minimal acceptable bid is $1,520. So that is 90% of their appraised value.
Okay, yeah, I just had to bring that up because I've had difficulties with county property and what we can sell it for and what we can't sell it for. And I was just being sure we're on the same page with all of them, that's it.
So, tell me that number again so people hear it. Jessica, it's 1,500 and what?
20.
$1,520 is the minimum bid or the starting bid price?
Correct. The appraised
Okay.
value was $1,688.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully we have a lot of interest come 1:30. Just one? So you want is just one?
Yeah.
All right. Merrill, thank you for that. We'll look for you at 1:30. On to number 5. Do either one of you have anything you want to address on the consented action items?
No, sir, I'm good.
I only have a comment. It's impressive that it's from A to Z.
Yeah.
That impresses me.
One more, Sam. You'd have been scrambling for letters. All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept these.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5Z.
I will second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. On to 6, call the public. Are there any call the public in Payson? I believe maybe we have one.
Yes, we do.
Okay, if you could just state your name and address, and we'll give you about 3 minutes and hear what you have to say.
Good morning. My name is Ricardo Greff. I live at 4916 North German Ranch Road in Strawberry. German Ranch.
Okay, hang on just a minute. I think we had a hard time getting that. It didn't come through.
Can you hear us all right?
Is that better?
Can you hear us?
We're testing it.
Okay.
Okay, give it another try. Let's see what we got.
Okay. My name is Ricardo Greff. I live at 4916 North German Ranch Road in Strawberry. And I'm a neighbor of, in our neighborhood, we have all of German Ranch Road is an easement, all the way from Fossil Creek Road down to the end, and where it curves around another easement that leads to Elk Road in the next subdivision here. The gentleman that lives in the last home, the home that you're looking at there, decided to block the easement there to have anybody go through from German Ranch Road to Elk Road to the next neighborhood here. I called up Supervisor Steve Christensen's office, and I spoke to Melissa and explained the situation to her about the gentleman blocking the easement. She said, well, he can't do that. He says, we need to contact community development and have them go out, investigate. If there's a violation, if he blocked it, to cite him and make him open it. And I said, well, that sounds good. So later on that same day, I contacted another neighbor that lives just next door to the gentleman that blocked the easement here, Connie and Marie Bernard. Connie told me, we've already been there, and we spoke to code enforcement specialist Tiffany Brown Colcroft, and she told us that there was nothing that she could do to force him to open the easement here. So I called up and spoke to Melissa again, and Melissa said, let me call community development and find out, and I'll call you back. Melissa called me back, and she said there's an easement there, and if he's got it blocked, since it's not a county-maintained easement, there was nothing that they could do to force community development to do to have that easement opened back up again. That is the only way, the second way in and out of our neighborhood. The only exit and entry point that we have, ingress and egress, is on German Ranch Road. The other exit that we had is the one that was blocked, the easement that was blocked here. If there's a situation where we can't use the one entry and exit there, we're stuck. We can't go south, we can't go any way. Even we need that easement open. I called, when I told Melissa this, she had Tiffany call me, and Tiffany explained to me that since it was not a county-maintained easement, there was nothing that she could do to get him to open up that easement. She gave me several Arizona revised statutes that pertain to easements and she gave me 4 of them, and I looked them up and read them, and there's nothing in those ARS statutes, Arizona Revised Statutes, that says it has to be a county-maintained easement for enforcement to take place. I also reviewed Gila County's minor land division ordinance, sections 100.01 and 02 that establishes easement. There's nothing in there also that says it has to be a county-maintained easement. I also looked at Gila County planning and zoning ordinances, sections 107.1 and 107.2, and they talk about violations in closing the easements here, and it doesn't say anything about having to be a county-maintained easement. We need that easement open. I don't know why. The only recourse that they said that we had was to go to Superior Court and present this to the judge and have the judge issue an order opening the easement. Gila County doesn't have anything that says it has to be a county-maintained easement. And also, Arizona Revised Statute doesn't say anything about counties having to have maintained the easement. And I asked also Tiffany this. I said, since German Ranch Road, the only other entrance is all an easement owned by the people that live on the east side of the street. So I said, if any one of those people that live there, landowners, decided to block the easement, she says, what would be the outcome? She says, since it's not a maintained easement, too, the guy that blocked the easement here that you were using before, he's been using that easement to get back and forth to his house across German Ranch Road. He would have to open up his house and take you to court to get you to open up the easement. So that's where we're at here. That's I think Connie Marie wants to say a few things too.
Yeah, we are the owners of Parcel 1. Oh, go ahead.
Can you state your name and address as well?
Yeah, I am Connie Marie, and we are the owners of, do you want our home address or the Parcel 1 and Parcel 2? You want those addresses?
Just your regular address is fine.
Okay, we live in Chandler, 871 North Los Altos, Chandler, Arizona. We bought Parcel 1 almost 13 years ago, and when we bought it, we got this documentation from the title company. We then bought Parcel 2, and with that parcel, we got this documentation again. They said our legal way in and out was really through Elk Road. We do have a son, in a wheelchair that doesn't walk or talk. We bought this property to let him enjoy because we cannot travel. If it is snowing, and we are up there visiting and it starts to snow, we cannot get up Fossil Creek Road with his wheelchair van because it goes uphill. We always gone through Elk Road ever since we've owned the premises. Parcel 3, the woman there was supposed to be here. She's raised a lot of concern about this too, because she's lived there since 1990 and has never been has always used Elk Road to go to her premises. So we're all very concerned. We can no longer walk our son. We can no longer get out in case of an emergency. And if our son, if we call 911 and German Ranch Road is blocked, there's no other way for them to get in with him closing off that easement. In the beginning, he told us he was going to put up a fence and give us a key. And we thought, okay, we will wait. But May of this year, when we came out, we noticed he had it totally wired off and he had planted grass, which means his intention was to totally close it off. I'm just asking that the community or does something to help us open this easement. It was documented in 1995, but it has been used for over 40 years, that easement.
Okay. Is there anyone else that wants to speak to this?
There was 3 other people who were supposed to be here. They got stuck at doctor's appointments and in meetings, but this is also harming. I mean, we could get a petition. A lot of people that have always walked through there to go to hike in the back area. Now they can't even do it. They ask us what's going on, and we explain to them.
We talked to the owner of the property who blocked the easement here. His name is Albert King, and he refuses to open up to take down the fence, and he says, no, I'm closing it up. We also called, it's been about a month ago, we called the sheriff and explained the situation to the sheriff, and the sheriff says, well, I can go talk to him. He says, but to me, it's a civil matter. I can't force him to open up the easement. The sheriff did go over, they talked to him, Mr. Keene refused to open up the easement, so here we are.
Okay, thank you. So, Supervisor Christensen, this is your district.
It is. I'm looking at a map trying to figure out where we are here. So there's situations in that area where these are problematic. So they're looking for a remedy. So I'm just going to ask our staff, what is the remedy for them? Is the remedy through the county? Is the remedy through lawsuits? I mean, are we at all something that can act on this, the board, or not?
Jessica?
Chairman, members, supervisors, today this was a call to the public, so it was
Yep.
not on the agenda. So what the board has authority to do is to respond to criticism, instruct staff to look into it, or request that the matter be put on a future agenda.
Okay, then my comments would be that we, in order to seek a remedy, because it is a public comment, that we would, I'm going to ask staff to look into this and come up with an answer that we can provide for you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, James.
I do have a question. This has been described to me as a utility easement. Is that in fact truth that it is a utility easement?
There is utilities in that easement.
It's a public, private, and utility easement.
D, all the above.
Public, private, utility easement.
Yeah. You know, this isn't just an isolated issue. I actually have one of these issues in my district. And quite honestly, it is going to a civil matter. That's where it's headed. And so, you know, and I think as time goes on and more properties are sold and changed and whatnot, there's gonna be more. But so thank you for your presentation and bringing this up to us. And Supervisor Christensen has instructed our folks to look into it some more, and hopefully you'll be hearing back from us fairly soon.
Okay, can I state one thing?
Yeah.
This has been recorded. We got it with our title insurance.
Yep.
Okay, the man who is closing it off, the gentleman who's closing it off, just got a quick claim deed. He did not get title insurance. He did not go through a title agency.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's part of the problem. It's already gone through all 4 people signing a document and it being recorded. It's not like it's just an easement that's being used and not recorded. I just want to point that out.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in Payson? Or are we good?
Anybody else want to see? I think we're good.
Okay. Anything on YouTube? How many?
We had 25.
All right, good deal. No one in Globe, and so with that, We'll move on to number 7 for updates. James, do you have any updates for us?
Mr. Chairman, I'll just mention that the Local First is holding their Rural Policy Forum here in Globe, Miami this week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, having a bunch of people from all over the state coming into town and enjoying. Tomorrow afternoon, there's a tour, economic development tour, that they'll go on to see the things that are going on in the community. And then Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, you have sessions of economic development and other things that Local First supports. So that's a good thing for us.
Thank you, James. Supervisor Humphrey?
Just first of the month meetings, I got a Tonto Basin meeting tonight at 5, and then next week, Roosevelt on the radio, so just meetings.
Good deal.
Public meetings.
Good deal. Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Chairman. A week from today, August 8th, I'm going to be holding a town hall meeting in Pine at the Pine Community Center. It'll be from 9 to 12. I've invited several of our department heads and others to be there to represent the various departments of the county and also fire departments and things like that. So we hope to have a good crowd, and we're there to answer questions. We're there to just make some brief presentations on what we're doing in Gila County in general and also in that district. So I look forward to doing that.
Good deal. So I don't have a whole lot. Next week I got a Arizona Conservation NRCD meeting, and other than that, kind of slow, so I'm enjoying it. And we'll move on to number 8, executive session. 8A, information, discussion, action. To vote to go into executive session pursuant to ARS 38431.03A3 for discussions with representatives from Gila County Provisional Community College District, GCPCCD, and to obtain consultation for legal advice regarding how the county wants to move forward with GCPCCD and or their educational partner, and authorize its attorneys to proceed as discussed in executive session. So I'd entertain a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
And seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll be back sometime. order, and I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that the legal department for Gila County would proceed as directed in executive session.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. And with that, I believe that is the end of most of our board meeting until 1:30. So I guess we'll adjourn till 1:30 and then come back in order.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have a recess. See, you could have just waited for that. start, well, we're gonna do 4N. And that is information, discussion, action to conduct the auction for the sale of 1,260 square footage of assessor's parcel number 206-10-076. Bids were accepted at 12:45 and quit at 1:15. So we have one bidder registered, Diane Oropeza, is that right? Right on. At 705 East Klein Street, Globe, Arizona, 85501. And with that, Diane, and then Kelly, you're Kelly, okay, well, welcome. So minimum bid is 1520, what's your guys' bid? 1520. You don't wanna up it?
I wanted to put this that way.
Number 12 for 1520, huh? Sold, 1520. Okay, there were no other registered bidders for this. She was the only one, so. Homero?
Chairman, thank you. Thank you for conducting the auction. You have on a previous resolution authorized the sale of this property. And we did advertise it. We noticed the newspaper. We've conducted the auction. You've accepted a minimum bid of $15.20, which was 90% of the appraised value. I would like to offer a motion, partly something that's already been done, but I'd like to offer that the objective of this meeting was not only to conduct an auction for the sale of 1,260 square feet of assessor parcel number 206-10-076, but to also authorize the chairman to sign the quitclaim deed upon payment by the top bidder, which are the Oropezas, with a minimum acceptable bid being $15.20. And it amends the motion for signing the quitclaim.
Okay.
Our clerk of the board has a copy of this proposed motion. It's been approved by our attorneys. And we'd like to see if you could vote on that motion to authorize the signing of the quitclaim.
One of you guys want to pick up that motion?
Yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. And the amount was 1520?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I move to sell parcel number 206-10-076 to the successful bidder number 12 in the amount of $1,520 and to have the chairman sign the quitclaim deed to transfer that property. Upon receipt of payment for the property.
If I could just, for the record, notice that it is a portion of that property that we're selling, 1,260 square feet, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, then I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you for waiting for us. And with that, I think that finalizes our meeting. Everything's covered, so I'll adjourn the meeting for the day.
Thank you.